I mean, yeah, this is good. Okay, actually, we might actually be streaming now. Let me see. I'm checking.
Have I looked this young in years?
Again, we might be live. Let me see. Um, let's see here. Checking.
And I never felt so alive. Or however that song goes.
It says upcoming. It says upcoming, but we're coming. We're currently coming. Oh no, okay. So we are up on.
You know what? That is our next band name.
Coming.
Currently coming.
Currently coming. Okay, we are live on Twitch, but let me just see about YouTube.
Well, of course you can be live currently. The question is, did it give people a notification?
Well, I sure hope so. Okay, I think we are live on YouTube. Yikes. Okay. We are live. Hopefully people make their way over here. Sorry about the technical difficulties.
Is anyone here? Oh, hi, hi, Shell,
looks like
Bryce.
people are...
Shell, Bryce. There he is.
Yeah.
Here came. Oh, did you hear everything?
Came.
Did you hear everything?
Well, I mean, basically from the moment that I said, "Oh, we might be live," that could have been live.
Wait. Okay, 2 band names here. We might be live and currently coming. I think the second one wins. What do you think?
Currently coming. I like currently coming.
Hold on. If you look at Bryce Shell's just series of comments, here came currently notified. Hold on.
Right,
what if
right.
we change the last one to coming? Here came currently coming.
Or here came coming notified.
I think notified's got to go.
Okay,
That's just not part of it.
Notified
Wait,
is a
what was
little
the
too
other one we said?
buttoned
What
up.
was the other one? What was the other option? I said the other band name.
Oh, I don't remember.
Not
'Cause
currently coming.
I only
but...
liked currently coming, to be quite honest. To be quite frank
no,
with
there
you.
was the other one was pretty good.
Not to me. Hate to say it.
Oh shit! Fuck.
Oh,
Oh wait a minute! Not to me.
Not to me. You like that too? Well, I don't know. I mean,
That could work.
it could. It could.
No, I hate it. Let's get rid of it.
All right. All right. Let me intro the show here, and we're kind of stumbling back in, as it were. But we had a little technical difficulties for some reason. OBS just totally, fully crashed. Fully
OBS,
came and crashed.
living up to your name there, people.
Oh, BS.
Exactly.
That's
Guys,
exactly what
You must have known what you guys were doing when you came up with that name. I mean, come on.
It's exactly what I exclaimed as it
Didn't
crashed.
they think to themselves, is this a really great initial for what we want to represent here?
Right.
And they probably thought, you know what? No one's going to notice. We noticed.
Do you think that
okay, motherfuckers, we noticed.
Do you think that they didn't really anticipate that they would be like the, premier live software? So maybe they just like weren't geared up for them to become so big.
They were just like, oh, we're going to be just small
Oh,
potatoes.
BS.
Oh, fuck it.
Oh, BS.
And now look at you, now look at you guys.
Yeah, now they're like the
You're
biggest.
bigger than shit, and yet you are shit. BS.
I actually think overall OBS has served me well.
I mean, you're pretty good.
Yeah,
No, it served me well too. I look at guys, we love you. No offense.
They're not watching.
But you are a bit shitty on occasion. No, I'm kidding. We love you.
They don't.
Give us an endorsement. We'll take it.
Oh yeah, I mean sure, yeah. I mean we'll take it, but
hook us up with some money or free shit.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, I don't mean to say the SH word. That was very uncool of me, uncouth.
Yeah, just
we
say
might
BS.
be live, Bryce. Bryce said we might. Okay, here's what it is. Here's the band name.
Oh.
Here came currently coming. We might be live.
I mean, sure, yeah. Oh, you're just. Oh, I see. It's all of our comments.
Yeah. You know what? We might be live though. Kind of reminds me of, which I have to say is not necessarily a good thing. Although no offense.
Right.
It kind of reminds me of They Might Be Giants. No offense.
We Might Be Live could have been a good podcast name, actually. We might be live.
We might be live.
Like, think about it. We might be live.
I like it for a podcast.
I mean, or just a live stream situation of some kind. We might be live.
You know what? We might be a live stream situation of some kind. Could it be that?
Yeah, I mean, it's too late for us to change our name, but it's a freebie to someone out there who's thinking about.
If we decide to just cut our losses with Totally Tell Me, though I do desperately do not want that to happen. We might have to just reinvent ourselves as we might be live, and then hit the big time.
What would cutting our losses even really mean
As
with
big
this
as
show?
OBS, motherfuckers.
Cutting our losses.
We're gonna be as big as OBS, okay? So don't even try to fucking talk some shit over here.
We cut our losses
OBS.
in totally tell me as in like what? Like we had some major falling out, but we're also like still okay to start a new podcast together.
Not falling out, but just like maybe we thought, okay, this is not really catching on in the same way that OBS is, and
Sure,
we want to
sure.
get to that level. So maybe we need to be like, we might be live.
Right. Okay.
Like
I mean,
such
yeah.
as bands that we know of. I'm not going to name names, but that have done such tale. And somehow when they changed their name, shit started happening for those fools.
Well, good for them.
It's so weird how that happens every so often.
I think it's a soft reset. You know, it's sort of like
It's a soft set.
it's a soft offset of a reset where you're sort of just like it's like when you're resetting your computer, but it's not like a hard reset. You're not like
It's not a hard.
shutting down everything. You're kind of just like, we're shifting over here. So
Hold
like,
up.
just,
Wait a minute.
what?
Soft reset.
I mean, soft reset's another one.
Also could be a good band name.
yeah. Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Soft serve. Could that work?
No.
I think not. That's a bit diuretic.
Well, also soft serve. It's just so clearly already a thing. You know.
It's already a thing, but I mean, soft. How about soft dick?
I love
That
it.
work?
I love that one.
Let's go with it.
There was something really it like just kind of, you know.
I feel like it really.
It flopped out in
to
front of me.
Sort of the core of me
Yeah.
and you.
When you
I
said
think
that
it speaks to people's center.
yeah. Anyway, so this
Yeah.
is totally tell me. We talk.
I know. I just thought of it. Soft disc.
Well, why a disc?
Because it sounds like dick, but it's not. But it's like.
Oh, I don't think people are gonna get that.
Okay, what about floppy disk?
Floppy disk is somehow more,
I think it works.
more like I see a dick sooner when you say floppy disk
I
than
do
I do.
too. That's the beauty of it.
What
That's the
about what
beauty of
about
it. I want
sloppy
you to see a
floppy dick?
I don't think you can do both, but I think you could say sloppy disc.
Sloppy disk.
Oh my god, I think you could. Okay, we could do sloppy disc. We could do sloppy dick, or we could do floppy dick.
Yeah.
What do you like?
I think
know,
your
I
instincts are
kinda
right.
like-
I think floppy disk. No, wait,
I
no.
like
Actually, no.
I kind of like floppy dick though.
Floppy dick?
Yeah, just why not?
I mean,
Just
sure.
go there.
Well,
You know what I mean? Just go there.
Just go there. Just
You know what I mean?
Just lay your
Okay,
dick
here-
out on
no.
the line.
Here's a thought. Here's a heart. Here's a thought. Floppy disk, the S in parentheses.
What would that?
Because then it means like you're not going to say that. It's like the S is silent.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
You know what I mean?
I suppose so.
Oh, how do you put one? Is there an accent mark that you can put above a letter to indicate that it's silent?
Well, you could also do just sort of like a, like to the power of S, like it's a little tiny one, like
Oh,
like A
on
to the
I,
power of
like,
3
Okay, DI to the power of S.
S.
Okay, I love that.
You know what I
DI
mean?
to the power of SK.
Right. It's sort of like a math equation, but it
I
also.
think it works because it kind of indicates that we're sort of a mathy band, which we are.
Oh, so this is for a band. This isn't for Totally Tell Me's rebrand.
No, 100% this is a band name.
Oh,
don't you think?
okay. Well, sure. No, I just didn't know where we were
Then
going
again,
with
it
this.
could be a podcast name, Floppy Dick. Dick, S is silent.
Dicks. Wait.
Okay, what if it was a floppy dick
Disc.
and then
Disc.
the S in parentheses and then, oh no, floppy DIK and then after that, in parentheses, we put the S is silent.
Well,
You
sure.
know what I mean?
It's too
Even though
complicated.
the S is not okay. I think I to
Too-
the power
too
of S
much.
could work.
Yeah.
I like I to the power of S.
Yeah. Anywho.
Let's keep these on, in our short list.
I mean, yeah, sure. Keep them on deck, as they say. On deck.
On deck,
as they
S
say.
is silent. E is silent.
Anywho.
Keep these on deck. The E is silent.
Right.
Or the E is pronounced I, or something like that.
So anyways, we go live every 2 weeks on YouTube and Twitch. You might be watching us now. And if you aren't watching us now, you can always watch us live 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every other Sunday. We usually announce what film we are going to be doing a few days beforehand on Instagram, so follow us there if you want to be ready to go, ready to flow. If you are watching the show, feel free to comment, and we'll make sure to incorporate those, especially when we are talking about the movie. If you saw the movie, we'd love to hear what you think about it. Our intro music today was Hurry Up John by a little band called Foxtails Brigade. No guests today. Sometimes we do have a guest. But today we're just going to sort of raw dog it, the two of us. So here we are. And for the first half of the episode, we're just going to kind of chit chat. Second half of the episode, we're going to be doing our film review. And today's film is Longlegs, the Osgood Perkins film. Osgood. The Osgood Perkins film, which we'll be talking about in the second half of the episode. But for now, we're just going to chit chat. I mean, I was gonna say it for the cast, but now that we're like really discussing his name, do you know that he's related to someone who is famous?
Anthony?
Anthony, that's right.
No way, really?
He's the son of Anthony Perkins, aka
son
of a Burke. He's Norman Bates' fucking son. Can you believe?
That's crazy. My dad met Norman Bates once.
You mean Anthony Perkins?
Yes.
Or did he meet the fictional character of Norman Bates?
Norman Bates,
he checked into the
Norman
hotel.
Bates, the bait is silent. No, my dad told me this crazy story about Anthony Perkins that I forget what it was, but he saw him at these. He ran into him multiple times at some events, like some kind of industry event, and I think my dad went up to him and said, "Oh God, I wish I could remember what he actually said to him." But it was something creepy and funny because my dad was so shocked that he had run into him multiple times that he... Oh, no. I think my dad went up to him and he goes, hey, Anthony, where's the party? And Anthony goes, I don't know what you're talking about. And my dad just like sort of laughed and left him alone. And then he ran into him at another party and he goes, Anthony, where's the party?
What the fuck?
I don't know what you're talking about.
And then he took the role of Norman Bates.
It happened a third time. Where he ran into him at another event of some kind, completely coincidentally. And so my dad, being the character that he is, went up to him a third time and he goes, Anthony, I've been asking you repeatedly, where's the party? Something like that. And then Anthony was just like, he said, leave me alone.
And then your father got blacklisted from Hollywood because
probably.
Anthony Perkins spread the word that...
I can't remember what exactly it was that he said, but it was kind of funny, but also like obviously weird.
Yeah. Well, I'd be pretty creeped out if someone said that to me over the course of perhaps like a decade or so. I don't know.
It was over the course of, I think, a couple years, maybe.
Okay, a couple years. Well, still, anywho, we'll be getting to Longlegs in a little bit, but first, we're just going to chit-chat, catch up, two of us, with you guys. Laura, what have you been up to? How are things?
How are things?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to come up with band names. Not that I'm trying to change my band name, but I do like thinking about them.
No, it's good. It's good to...
You know what I think is good? Is just listening to what people say and writing some of it down. That's where I'm getting a lot of my inspiration lately. Is just, people say the darndest things. And they don't even realize that some of it is actually just gold. And so I write some of that down. But I have not put a lot of it to music yet because that is also something I need to do. And I've been feeling very guilty that I haven't done a lot of that lately. So people, if you are a Foxtails Brigade fan and you're pissed off that we haven't put anything out lately, well, you're right.
Here's what you should do.
Right. You are pissed off.
You should just start saying something more interesting so that Laura can write it down so that she's got something to work with over here.
No, it's not. But you can't say something interesting on purpose. It happens.
Right. Well, accidentally say something quite profound so that Laura can get some inspiration up in here.
But you know what's crazy is like you just said something. Say something profound. That's a good phrase.
Well, look, take it and run with it. I mean, I would just be...
No, you know what's a good phrase? Accidentally say something profound. Write it down.
I mean, do it.
That kind of works, though. You know what I mean? It's a good phrase.
Well, look, here you are.
Accidentally say something profound.
I mean, totally tell me, inspiring
I'm writing it down right now.
Good.
These are the things I do these days.
Yeah. So you're you're in a writing, you're sort of like a writing mode, one could say.
Well, I feel that I'm a bit of I'm a scribe. I consider myself to be a scribe. And so I just take notes on the things that I hear that seem to be of value, and I just put them on paper because sometimes, you know what I mean? There needs to be a record of something. And so I'm trying to be the record for accidentally said profound things. Because who knows who in the future may be touched by such little words as these.
Yeah. I mean, I also always find it hard to like get to that state of writing. And I always feel like for me, what I have to do is I have to switch even like one small thing up to like take my brain out of almost autopilot of life, you know, where you're just sort of like, now I do this, and now I do this, and now I do this. And then before you know it, your day's done. But like if you do something to kind of like intentionally throw a wrench into your own plans, even if it's something small, like
throw a wrench into your own plans. There's a phrase.
Look, I'm full of them. Like, look.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Even if it's something
Throw a
small, like
wrench
just
into your
your
own
environment, like making your environment something different, you know? Like I'm also, you know, currently trying to write more, and it's only been moderately successful, so maybe this isn't the best advice, but I have been writing more in the last couple weeks than I have in a while, and like for me it's just sort of been like, and you know, for me it's film, for you it's music, so I think there's some pretty direct correlation, but it maybe isn't one-to-one. But like I will just change the lighting in my room. Like I have this light back here that I can make any color, and I've been like, I put it on red. I douse my whole room in red.
Oh my god, I don't like a red light though.
Yeah, well, see, I do.
That's just me.
Well, see, for me, it's like, well, it also for me is like matching up with the vibe of what I'm trying. Doused in red. There you go.
That's a good phrase. I'm writing it down.
I'm trying to summon something, you know. I'm trying to like summon a particular mood, and
that's the thing is you don't even. I mean, I understand that approach, trying to create an environment that is nurturing creativity, which is very much a thing that works. I think you know what I mean. Not to cut you off.
No, yeah.
But I'm realizing like I haven't been able to have the time to put myself into those environments, you know, with that intention, and to be able to just have that space to just really like, this is what I'm doing right now. I'm being creative. I'm going to focus on the page.
Yeah.
So because I haven't had that time, I'm just trying to listen to what is happening during the times that I'm doing other things.
Yeah, totally. But
that's all I can do. But carry on.
No, I mean, maybe you could try and get like an hour, you know, like try and get like an hour where, you know.
Oh my God, I know.
It's tough though. Look, I'm not saying this is easy because I'm not doing it very well myself.
You know what it is about that for me is like, getting an hour. I have these other things that I'm working on. Like I'm working on a studio right now. For those of you who are, I haven't announced this publicly. Not that necessarily anyone would care. Maybe they would.
You've been talking about it though. You've been talking about it.
I haven't like done any. I haven't really done a formal announcement of it, but yeah, we're working on this studio, and I feel like that is my creative project that I'm putting all my efforts and time and extra energy into, that I'm making space for. And so I'm kind of using that as my excuse for like, okay, and once that's done, then I'm gonna make an hour time of a day to just create a space and have the lighting go and all of that shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, not shit, no, it's real. And I had more, I feel like I was much more able to kind of insert myself into those spaces and realms and just actually have all my elements be perfectly attuned to creativity. You know what I mean? But, and that's also, I think that gets into your head as being like, this is what you need to have in order to be creative.
Well, that's totally true too.
And that's also a problem.
Well, see, that's why I think the key is to make it something that you can do quite simply. Like, don't make it this overly complex, like, I have to have my coffee at this time, and then I need to go and meditate for an hour, and then I need to do this, and then I need to do that. Like, try and make it something that's like, oh, I just light this particular candle, or like, oh, I put on this particular album, or I guess that would be hard for you because you're making music, but like, you know, you make it like something that's just sort of, you can do it in a matter of minutes.
But if you light this particular candle and there's like a child running around the house, and then like your husband's watching a TV, and then you have to make dinner and all that stuff, it's like, okay, you need all those things to stop.
Yeah. Well, that's why I think
you need to have some alone time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
And
maybe
I
you
think
can.
the alone time and all of that,
I think for you could, knowing you could like try and go on a walk or something, like a solo
I
walk,
know, except that I just hate walking.
solo drive. Then, though, then again,
don't, though.
you probably
I don't.
shouldn't space out when you're driving.
Well,
That's
it's funny
probably
because
not the
like
best.
I don't feel like if I'm gonna go on a walk, I'm like I should just go to the gym and not run on the treadmill where I can like burn some calories and get something done.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know
you
what it is?
could.
I think
you
it's
could
that
walk.
lack of faith that something actually valuable is gonna come out of the walk, that's my problem. Is I think I've lost faith in my. I don't know. I think I'm. Yeah, it's in a bad place. Yeah, it's not good. I think I've lost a little bit of faith that I'm gonna catch the big fish. You know what I mean? As David Lynch would say, catching the big fish.
Well, you'll definitely not catch it if you don't. If you don't
If
go
I
fishing.
don't go on the walk. Yeah, if I don't, you're right. But you know what? I can also always be fishing by listening. Except not with the music. No, I have to actually like have my instrument in hand, and I think
Sure, yeah.
that's happened. No, but here's the thing. I do have faith in this. It's all gonna come to a crazy like boiling point where I'm gonna have a very large plethora of material that all like emerges at a point. Like I just feel it because I have a lot of written material right now. So I just that is usually the harder part for me, writing lyrics. So I think I'm not that worried about it, but I do feel a sense of shame and guilt that I haven't written much in a while. That's a fact. That's
I
just-
mean, you'll do it.
I hope so. Yeah, one hopes. But I ain't getting any younger. Although I have to say, today I'm looking pretty young. What do you think, guys? Nope, don't say anything. Don't say anything.
Oh.
But I just think that this camera, for some reason, it's working. And I've been feeling, and this is just another thing, just as a side note, you asked how I've been doing, what's been up.
Yeah.
I really feel like my hair has not been as good lately. And I wondered if it was because I'm old and like a freaking becoming a crone. But
What do you mean it's not as good?
it just feels like it's not as good. Like it's frizzier. It doesn't feel as today. I'm thinking, hey, this is looking more like my old self. I think I know why. I think I figured out what it was. My hair could only tolerate for so long an unfiltered shower head.
Unfiltered shower head.
Because here's what I discovered. when I
Hard
went
water and
down
soft water?
Yes, I went down to LA. My mom has a water softener on her shower. I took a shower there. I did my hair afterwards, and I was like, hey, this is how my hair should be. But how it is not being when I take a shower up here. And I'm also realizing that the shower head here was like kind of broken. So I'm wondering if I'm getting extra hard water, extra hard water, and it was like damaging
Hard as a
my
rock.
hair. Harder than a dick is
Hard
on
as a
frickin'
rock water.
Blue moon night. I don't know what that means,
Right. But you're looking for a nice flaccidly soft water
one needs a flaccidly
to just
soft.
sort of run over
One
you.
needs a floppy water.
Right. Yeah. You need that water
Floppy
to.
water.
What if the water really was like you could actually kind of see it like flopping out of the faucet, you know? Like just
if
kind
it
of
just kind of did
just
this.
like it just sort of like
You know what would be so?
it just
You know what you
flopped
just
out.
gave me an idea of?
Yeah.
Floppy dick water spout.
I mean, yeah.
Like as a fun sort of I don't know,
Invention.
some sort of fun like gimmicky sex type of thing where it was like a water fountain that somehow made the water come out in the form of a floppy dick. Imagine that.
Yeah.
That could be a seller, don't you think?
So it's sort of. Do you mean that it's coming out of the faucet and it sort of
In
looks
the shape
like
of a dick.
like it looks
Like an
like
ice sculpture.
like it's sort of like a
It
circular.
yes, it has the ridges.
But then how would you get that
Imagine
head? How would you get that head? You know what I mean?
It would somehow be a contraption that creates such a thing.
Like it just at the very last second just sort of goes like zoop, and it kind of creates a little.
Somehow it makes that. Yeah, it does that.
Wow.
Can you picture such a thing?
Oh
And
yeah.
would that be a big seller? I think it might be a huge hit. 'Cause imagine people who would want to use that as like a sort of sex toy.
Oh, a sex
The
toy.
wa-
Well,
I think it could be called the watery dick. No, I think it could be called the watery prick.
well, what if there was? What if you sort of put like a condom onto the tip of a water faucet, but then the condom had a little prick at the tip, so the water does fill up the condom. You know what I'm saying? So
Well,
it
then-
actually
okay.
is a dick, and then the dick itself is spewing out a little bit of just tippy tap water at the tip in a sort of way.
That could also
It's
work.
fun. It funnels it for sure, and this isn't a
Then it's
practical
like
thing.
the prick is coming.
Yes, yeah, the prick is definitely coming, but
The prick is coming. Another bumper sticker phrase. Just, I mean, as a thought.
right.
The
But
prick is coming.
I think that could. I don't know. That could also.
Do you think
work.
the prick
It's
is
an
coming
alternative.
could be a bumper sticker?
Well, I mean, look, sure, of course it can be. The prick is coming.
Should it be the prick is coming or this prick is coming?
Well, if you say this prick is coming, then you're really turning it around on yourself. You're like, all eyes
Yeah.
on me. I'm the driver, and my prick is coming.
What
Whereas,
about what if it was like your prick is coming?
oh, like the person behind you who's reading it, and they're
Yeah,
like,
but then it's
my
not
prick
calling
is
that-
coming.
But they're not calling that person a prick. They're just talking about that person's prick.
Right. Well, no, they're driving their car, and they're like, my prick is coming. And then they look down, and then
Then they get in a car accident.
and
they
then
came.
they rear end.
No,
rear
but
end.
I'm not even kidding
you know?
though. Like seriously, imagine a device titled the water prick.
The
And
water
it was
prick.
just somehow you attach it to your faucet and it makes the water come out as a penis.
I feel like the water prick sounds like an early 1900s novel that was like really popular, but like at the time it didn't really mean that. You know what I mean? But now
it
here
means
we
that
stand, and the water prick, the famous 1910 novel, is like really taking on a new meaning.
And the penis could look like a 1900s penis in some way.
What? So, wait.
Like maybe it.
What
it
does a
has some
1900s
sort of-
penis look like in versus a 20?
1900s? No, maybe like I'm thinking actually more of like an early 18, late 1700s prick.
Uh-huh. What would they have really been doing differently? I suppose it could likely be hairier.
I would imagine some sort of like a white powdered wig.
on the
as
dick.
pubics. Somehow there's that. No, you know what it is? Okay, it's a device that you attach to the faucet, but around the ring of the faucet where it attaches, there is actually a flop
Mm-hmm.
of curly white powdered hair, like sort of a George Washington like prick look.
Mm-hmm. Now, what about
And
this
it's called
phrase?
the water prick.
What about this phrase? Dicks through time.
Dicks through time.
And I see this as an exhibit in a museum. And in the exhibit, one can experience what dicks were and what they meant
I like
through
that.
time. And
Meant?
maybe even different areas of the world, like maybe certain peoples saw the dick as,
as they
this
did.
or that.
Well, I don't know if it's like what they mean. I think I think to keep things simple and engaging, if it was just a long row of historical up to current day pricks.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Right.
think it should be called pricks through time.
Pricks through. Well, sure, we can. I mean, sure, but it's more the concept, because you would have to wonder, like, has the dick shifted?
It has shifted indeed. I think it has.
Has it shifted?
I think pricks
Have they
through
gotten
time-
hairier? Have they gotten larger? Have they gotten veinier? Like, I mean, there's a lot to research here.
Hold on. Let's just consider the options, like the names, the different names that we have for penis.
Well, there's too many, but do you just mean like
Name 5. Penis,
Cock.
prick, cock,
schlong,
schlong, prick.
nards are more than balls, I
No,
suppose.
nards is balls. No,
Right,
not just
right.
more. They absolutely are the
Right,
balls.
shaft.
Shaft. It could be called time shaft, but maybe not. No, I think I like through time. I do kind of like cocks through time, even though it's a bit crass.
Mm-hmm. Well, Cox is definitely the crassest of them all, and I think a quite common one too.
Yeah, I think let's not go with cocks, but I think
I mean, there's also just simply penis and dick. Have we said those?
dick is a little bit too crass too. I think it's a little bit déclassé. I think prick works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just as a sort of like a serious sort of high art, highbrow kind of coffee table piece, as Annikins has suggested. Yeah, I do see it as a coffee table book.
Mm.
Pricks Through Time. It could be an art installation, and it can also be a coffee table art book.
You know, I'm
Dominic, could be huge.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Huge.
right, yeah. Well, speaking of which, actually, I did sort of just type in first of all, I typed in Dicks Through Time into Google, and now I'm on this Reddit thread here. How has penis size been regarded across times and cultures?
But
and
not
this is
the
interesting.
size, but what
no,
about
I know.
style?
I agree. I would prefer style.
Shape, and I
Looks-
wonder if they did powder their pricks back in the 1700s, though. To be honest, in Baroque times.
Right.
Oh my God, they totally could have, or 1600s. Oh my God.
Right.
I wonder. I mean, there's all kinds of things they did. I mean, like cod pieces, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But the actual penis itself, how has that changed and how has it evolved?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Well, we'll just have to leave that to the historians.
Pricks through the ages.
Yeah.
Pricks through time. I'm writing it down.
Anywho.
Pricks through time. I think we need to do this, Dominic. I'm not even kidding. This could really be big.
I mean,
You
we could
laugh
do it.
now,
We could
but
do it
what-
as an episode.
You won't
though.
be laughing when we're swimming in our millions.
Well, sure, yeah. I think we could debut it as an episode.
Our OBS size millions.
We could do an episode where rather than a film, we just sort of do like a
Some sort of
PowerPoint presentation. Yeah.
Yes.
Where
I agree.
we bring upon Dicks Through Time. You know.
Let's do it. I think we should seriously do this.
I'd be down. I'd totally be down.
I think we should do something.
It wouldn't
with
hurt.
this. Let's do this.
Anywho.
Okay, there's so many ways we could go about the installation. Like I imagine just a very kind of white washed.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine a white sculpture. Like imagine just white sort of plaster or molded sculpture pricks
Mm-hmm.
that are kind of like busts. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just on these pedestals,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just all in a straight line.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Laura,
and maybe even like a labyrinthian sort of spiral.
right. I
And
honestly
you walk
think
through it as the viewer, and you see all the different pricks through time.
Yeah. I honestly think if
What
we
they look like.
Here's what we should do. I think if we legitimately went to the SF MoMA and we got a meeting with the higher ups and we got into a boardroom and we dead ass gave this pitch.
Dead ass.
Like dead ass, like without a smirk on our
I'm
face.
dead ass about this. Yeah.
Right. I think they might heavily consider it. I think we, the
No,
two of
Dominic,
us.
they're not gonna. No, we have to come. We actually have to create the thing first, though.
Oh, really? Well, they're not going to like commission it or something. Don't they do that? Maybe? I don't know.
Maybe. Well, I feel that we have to at
They're
least
like-
create a prototype.
Because we have to then at the end of our presentation be like, and so we are seeking $200,000 to commission these pieces, and we will bring them to the SF MoMA exclusively.
Okay, Dominic, I'm all on board with this. I think we're going to need to do a little research
Okay,
and just give
okay.
a presentation. We need to give a presentation and show sort of like prototypes of what we envision. What is
Absolutely.
the vision for this?
Yeah, vision
And
board.
just
We'll
show
get a
kind
vision
of
board.
like, we'll get a vision board. And a vision board is like a wish list, basically. No, but we'll make some sort of presentation where we show kind of just a mock-up
Yeah.
of what we envision the actual installation to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm envisioning just a long row of almost like they're all this like a white marble or something like that on a
Mm-hmm.
sort of Greek type column, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Pedestal. And then they're all just lined up, and then they just move in a spiral like fashion, and then
Mm-hmm.
each one is just 5 or 10, maybe 5 samples from each
Mm-hmm.
millennial.
Right. Well, now let me
Millennium.
pose a question to you that they're sure to ask. Okay, because they're gonna ask us both. They're gonna be like, "Why you?" and "Why now?"
And our answer is going to be why not and why not.
Okay. All right. Simple. I could say that I have been a longtime fan of penises, and I feel like I am here now, as an adult, and I'm ready to share my love of penises with the world and beyond. And it is beyond.
I feel like I could just say, I just think it's interesting to consider what a penis looked like in the 1400s, in the early thousands.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I just think that the penis is Well, it's a many splendor thing, and it's also a funny thing.
Like, think of it.
And
like,
why not? I mean, I'm down. You know, who's done this?
right? Yeah. It's like we have so much research into what people wore through all these decades and periods of time throughout history. Like, we've seen the evolution of what we wear on top of the penises, but we've not seen the evolution
The penis itself.
of the penis itself. Write that shit down.
And it may or may not have changed. Like, what if the whole installation was just every single one was the same?
Wait, this is brilliant. Because that can be the point.
That could be the point. This is amazing.
The point is we simply just show the exact same picture of a penis
that could be
50 times in a row. And we're like, this is the evolution of penises. There has been none.
It's brilliant.
I think it's brilliant, yeah. I think we're really onto something.
You know what? Do not fucking copy us, anybody out there. We have dibs on this. Do not even try to run with this. Okay?
Yeah, I love that we're having this creative brainstorm like live on air for anyone to steal.
Don't even try to steal this stuff. Look at this recording is a document of the fact that we came up with this. This is our idea. You are not to steal this.
Yeah.
Two of you.
What's up, Soylent Heston? He arrived just in time, he said, to this conversation.
What did he say?
He just said, I arrived just in time.
Oh, okay. I don't see a Soylent Heston, but okay, welcome.
Quite simply. Yeah, it's there. It's there.
Not for me.
Anywho.
That's so weird.
Well, speaking of dicks.
This is going to be amazing. Oh, my God. I think this could actually be the key to my first million. Which I could really use right now, I'm just saying.
Yeah, couldn't we all? Couldn't we all?
Dominic, I'm not even kidding. Like, I really think we should try to do this.
Oh, yeah, I'm down. Yeah, I'm down.
Really? Honestly?
Yeah, I'm honestly down. I mean, yeah.
I'm honestly down too. Me too.
All right. I'll do some research.
Let's do something with this.
Anywho.
It's going to happen. What's up with you? Tell me about your life.
Well, I was going to talk about Twisters in 4D, and maybe I will, but I just feel like...
I want to see that.
Yeah, well, okay, well, look, I'll brief it.
Brief me.
It's incredible.
Really?
So to set everyone up here, Twisters is a new movie that just came out, the sequel to, but by the way, completely... like, you don't need to have watched Twister to watch Twisters. It's a totally different set of characters. The main similarity is just the fact that it centers on people who chase twisters in the Midwest. Anyways, I saw Twisters in 4DX, which, if you're not familiar, is a way to see a movie where the seats...
Twister looks like a penis in 4 dicks.
Right, yeah.
Triple X rated.
Yeah, I saw it in 4 dicks.
It's part of the Prick Through Time actual installation piece, but don't even that's on the DL.
Right.
I'm kidding. Sorry, carry on.
So the seats move. It's basically like the roller coasterification of a film that you're going to watch. So the seats move. There is like wind. There is mist. There is like thunder or sort of light that will happen. What else is there? There's fog. I have been told that there's stench, but there was no stench in Twisters.
Oh, that's fucked up.
So I think they saved...
I want the stench.
Well, so I think there is stench in other films, but there's just... The thing with Twisters is there's not... Like, what would you smell?
You'd probably smell a lot. Wind.
Well, okay.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
I feel like...
There's a general scent, I suppose, to, like, the shit that's blowing all around the...
Yeah, the shit.
Like, no, I bet... But there are wind and mist effects already in the theater. And I guess there's a sort of scent to that, to be honest. Because it doesn't really...
Oh, okay.
It's kind of got, like a little funky... Something.
Oh.
It's not the worst, though. I'm just saying it doesn't smell like nothing,
It's got like a Febreze scent.
It's got just a something, It's just sort of like a...
It's got that Fabry stank.
Yeah. But anyways, this shit was banging. It was banging. This is a 10 out of 10. Like, the movie is like a 5 out of 10.
Wait, have you seen other movies in 4D dicks?
I have seen a couple other films in 4DX, And and but this was far and away the best 4DX experience.
Twisters was by far and away the best 4DX movement I've ever seen.
No, you have to say it for DX. DX. Because it's 4DX.
Is the best 4DX movement you'll ever experience.
Like you're basically just taking the 4DX, 4DX, you know.
You do not have to explain it. I get it.
Well, I'm explaining it to the people, you know.
The people get it.
Anywho, so I mean, this is like the best 4DX experience that you're gonna have. Like, it's a real banger. It's just. I mean, I was crying laughing. That's how fun it was. Yeah. I mean, it was a fucking blast. Yes.
Okay.
Because the thing is like, even though these sequences are very intense and at times like, you know, very dramatic things are happening while these tornadoes are blowing you all around your fucking seat, as you're like, you know, like shaking it. Like, it really tosses you around, by the way. So that's the first thing to remember.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. It's like, that's what's so funny about it is like, you're just like sitting there and then, you know, like things, it'll like start to rumble. You know, you're starting to like, because we're getting close to the twister, and then by the time you're up in that twister, I mean, you're just like looking around, and everyone around you is like fucking flopping around. It's so funny. Like if you're holding a drink, because I went with a friend who brought like a huge soda, and then like in the midst of the huge finale, which was like 20 plus minutes of shaking, she like tried to take a sip of her soda, and the soda went all over her and Dylan, who was sitting next to her. They were like drenched in
Dylan
soda.
Went with you. Thanks.
He did.
Wait, when did you go?
This was it last Friday? I think it was. Maybe like a week ago.
Oh.
Something like that. Yeah, it was like a week ago.
Oh, after our dinner?
It was on the 20th. So it was the day after our dinner.
Oh.
I mean, you knew this.
Guess I couldn't go.
I think I told you about it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think I was. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see what I was doing. That was Ethan's birthday. I couldn't go.
Right, yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Birthday party, not his birthday.
Indeed. By the way, what's up,
no,
Nicole?
really
Welcome in. And also, to respond to Bryce here, no DX stench. Yeah, there was no DX stench, but you know, I could see, like, if you're watching a porn in 4DX, that could work, you know. Anywho, so that was great. I highly recommend it to any and all. Just go see that for sure.
I'm gonna see it. I really want to. Maybe I'll try to see it tonight after this, but I probably can't because it probably is not showing. Or is it?
No, it could be. It could still be showing, but yeah.
In Dublin.
Yeah, you got.
That would be the closest place I could see it.
Oh, they have a 4DX.
Whoa! Do you know what just came up on my feed just now? It says Longlegs. Speaking of which, hits 58 million, surpassing A24's "Talk to Me" as highest-grossing indie horror movie in North America.
Of 2024, yeah. It's breaking records. It's been a runaway sensation, you could say. And in fact, why don't we just use that to transition to the film? Because you know, I will say I have a hard out at about like 8:50. So I just want to make sure
the pricks and dicks are just flying left and right these days.
Right.
But I am so serious. I am not kidding. I really do want to run with this pricks through time idea.
Oh yeah, no. Look, we will return.
We are good. Just please put a pin in it.
we'll put a PN in it.
Put a dick in it.
So
no, I really want to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So let's transition to discussing the film that we're going to talk about today. And again, just as a reminder, we will start our conversation with absolutely no spoilers. So if you haven't seen Longlegs,
absolutely nothing.
we'll just sit here in silence. So we won't be discussing any plot details. We're just going to talk about kind of general thoughts about what we thought about the film before we kind of dig into everything in more details in the second half of our review. So we'll make it very clear when we do that. But for now, we're just going to kind of talk big picture. And to start us off, let me just brief again that this film, it's called Longlegs, was written and directed by Osgood Perkins, who's the son of Anthony Perkins, who played famously Norman Bates in Psycho.
Do you think people look to him are just like, hey, it's all's good?
Well, definitely. There's something about that name that makes me feel like he must have known what he was doing, right? He's calling him Osgood Perkins. You know,
Right,
Osgood.
Osgood Perkins. Osgood Perkins. Like something's got something. It could either be taken as Osgood, like I'm imagining some sexual thing happening below the below the belt,
Mm-hmm.
or it could be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I just fucked up your painting. Hey, dude, it's Osgood. Maybe.
Right. Anywho, so
I don't
Osgood,
know.
you know, do you know that we have quite the history with Osgood, even on this very same podcast, because
do we?
his directorial debut was The Black Coat's Daughter, which was a
Oh.
film that we reviewed in one of our very first episodes of this show.
DJ Real.
With DJ Real, indeed. That was back in 2015. That was his directorial debut. He's since directed a couple other films that I would say didn't really, you know, I think have breakthrough success, called I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House and Gretel and Hansel. That was in 2016 and 2020, respectively. And then now this is kind of, I would say, the first time since The Black Coat Star that he's really had something that was like a standout success. It's sort of like his return to true horror in a way.
I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House is basically the same. It's essentially like kind of a ripoff of or a
Oh, you
very
saw it?
similar movie to. Isn't it very similar to what was that? Was it a Norwegian movie about a little girl who's basically a ghost that like lives in a house?
Oh, I mean, I didn't see I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House. You saw it?
But you saw this other movie that was really big. Not the.
You're not talking
Babadook.
about the vampire one, right? Let the Right One In?
Yes. Let the right one in. Wasn't that similar to I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House?
Well, I have no idea because I haven't seen I Am the Pretty Thing That
Oh,
Lives in the
okay.
House.
Okay, sorry. Never mind.
Anywho, so Osgood Perkins, he's back, and this is by far his biggest hit now. Like, I mean, me and you knew The Black Coat's Daughter. It kind of got some like moderate indie success, but nothing like Longlegs. This film stars Michael Monroe and, you know, quite famously Nicolas Cage as the titular character Longlegs. Just a little brief about kind of the success of this film, which has been pretty wild to witness. The film was projected to make 7 to 9 million on opening weekend, and it blew it out of the water and made 22 million. And it's now since become Neon's highest grossing film at 58 million. And
Crazy.
it kind of just like, I think part of it was the marketing. They did I think they kind of took some nods from like Blair Witch Project, not with like trying to make it seem real, but just sort of by keeping things vague and kind of like, what is this? You know, like what are you getting into? Like they at first didn't even say what the name of the film was. They were just like putting out these like wild kind of cult looking, you know, things and just like imagery from the film that like was disconnected from anything. People were like, what is it? What's going on? And then eventually they obviously named it Longlegs, but they also in the marketing completely hid Longlegs himself from the marketing. So if you watch a trailer for this film, you didn't see Nicolas Cage at all in the marketing, and they kind of like built up this whole thing of like, who is Longlegs? What does he actually look like? And I think a lot of people were like showing up to figure out even just like simply what the killer, like what he is and what he looks like, which is kind of interesting. I mean, I don't know, especially considering things, but and we'll get to that. But you know, so they kind of were like playing into this whole mystery to get people into the theater, and it completely worked. So with all that, what did you think? What did you think of Longlegs?
I mean, you know. I don't want to. I mean, no offense. I ain't talking no shit no over here, but no, it was I thought it was all right. You know, thought it had some moments. What can I say? I give it about a 6.5 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I didn't know Nick Cage was going to be in the movie, so that was one thing.
Oh, interesting.
And I hope that's not a spoiler.
It's not a spoiler. I mean, I just said that.
I like Nick. I mean, I don't know. It's weird, and this is. I hate to say these things, but Nick Cage is a cool dude. I feel like when he's in a movie, I feel I'm watching Nicolas Cage. You know what I mean?
Well,
it doesn't.
yeah,
it kind of takes me out of being able to get lost in a movie and just be in the actual world of a movie that is not this world. Nicolas Cage makes me feel like we're in this world and we're watching him do something. You know what I mean? And for me, it doesn't work for me. You know what I mean? I think it's kind of funny. You know, I think there's a funny quality about him, and there's something kind of cool about him. But I also just, I don't know. I'm just not one of those people who's like, oh, he's in this movie. I really want to see this because he's in it. You know what I mean? Just because for me, I like to, a movie, for me, what I enjoy about movies is being able to just get lost in a movie and feel like I'm in a different world. You know what I mean? And so that took me out of it a little bit. And it did find him to be a bit humorous in this movie. I mean, just the way he was portrayed and all the T-Rex references, which I didn't fully understand, but I guess, well, I kind of like read up on it afterwards, and now I suppose I get it, but I didn't really get like why. I don't want to get into spoilers, so
we'll talk about it.
There was that, but yeah, I thought there were some great moments in it. You know, I thought there was some beautiful cinematography. I thought that some of the characters were very interesting to watch and perform, or at least one of them. But you know, I don't know. To me, there were aspects of it that were problematic for me, as like just as a film. You know, as a film, as like a quality film experience. You know what I mean? Like there are things that, for me to critique a movie and give it like a really high regard, it needs to be able to do things that this movie did not do. That's all I'm saying. But I guess overall I was engaged and I was entertained, you know, so that's why I'm giving it a 6.5.
Sure thing.
What about you?
I think we're like extremely on the same page here, actually, which is pretty wild. You know, I mean, I feel like it's been a while since we've really agreed on something. But I really feel quite similarly. I think it was a bit disappointing. I think visually it's totally stunning. Like, I love the cinematography of it. I think like it's got a really cool style. I even just something like the title, I think is compelling, and not just the title itself, like the word itself, but just like the font, the red that they picked. I was like so into, even in the beginning of the film, like especially in the beginning of the film when you have a lot less answers, I was like really feeling it when they were being quite vague as to even who or what Longlegs is in the film, and there's like a lot of mystery but behind like I mean, it's not a spoiler to say this is sort of like a detective type film. Like they're hunting a serial killer. It's
a murder mystery with some fantastical elements.
Yeah, there's like some occult stuff.
Occult stuff that is, you know, there.
But at the heart of it, I would say.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, at the heart of it, I would say it's like a serial killer, you know, thriller or something. And
but with like elements of supernatural.
Right, and
that's what puts it into the horror realm for me. Like, I think if it has the supernatural element, then we're in horror. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you know, yes. Oh, it's obviously a horror movie for sure.
Well, if it's scary. If it's supposed to be scary and there's supernatural elements.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
But, and I thought the soundscape was really cool. I thought, some of just the concepts that they were playing with. You know what's crazy about this film is like, I feel like it has so many things that I love in not just horror movies, but just like movies. You know, like it has all the ingredients that would normally hook me immediately. Like I love a serial killer like is on the loose and we're hunting him and he's leaving like messages kind of thing. Like me and you off Totally Tell Me, I think we're recently talking about one of my favorite films, which is Zodiac, which is like based on, of course, the real Zodiac killer, but the real Zodiac killer was leaving these like cryptic messages with like symbols that people were like decoding and figuring out, and like, you know, he would leave hints as to, you know, who he might, like where he might strike next or whatever it was. That is like so my shit. I love when it's like the killer is playing with the main characters and like who's gonna get the upper hand, you know. that kind of element. And then I of course love kind of like this twisted occult kind of like underbelly, like is the devil involved or is he not? Like, is it just totally based in reality, or is there going to be some supernatural qualities? Like, you don't really know. And like the symbolism, like all of this shit was like exactly my kind of thing, but I felt like it really didn't, when all the cards were laid out, I was like, what does this really even add up to, though? Like,
style over substance.
yeah, and
opinion.
I can
That's
kind
what it
of
is.
get into style over substance sometimes if it's like
No.
I can, like if there's
I know.
enough substance, like if there has to
But
be
there
enough
was not
substance,
enough. Yeah, but there. Yeah.
like because I like a highly
me, this
stylized
movie
film.
was one. Sorry to cut you
Yeah.
off. There was just one article I was reading about it. I think it was in Rolling Stone. They're like, this movie is unabashedly style over substance, and I'm like,
Well,
unabashedly. Okay.
I think you
To
can.
me, like, if it's going to be doing that, then I can't get fully on board with that. You know what I mean? Unless it's a music video.
Uh-huh.
But like for a feature length movie that has, I don't know, I just think it's so easy to do it like that, you know. And I guess it's not about being easy. I mean, it doesn't matter if something's easy or not. Easy can be a great way to approach things, but it just felt like just throwing stuff at the wall. And well, no, I mean, I don't know. It did have a certain very specific style, but
I don't think
I
it's
just
easy
don't
to
know.
have a style that's like this. I think
Specific.
I think its style is impressive regardless of its substance, but I really wish it had more substance, because if
Yeah,
it did,
I just think stuff needs to have substance, don't you think? Like, what if you met a person that was just style, but they had no substance? That would
well,
not be fun.
I think it's different. I think people are different from art, but like for me, I appreciate. I really like a highly style. Obviously, I like the opposite too. Like I like when something is very understated. But
too.
well, I like both. But again, I love a highly stylized film, and this is that, and it has my kind of style too. Like the things it's going for, it's like, oh shit, that's the stuff that I really resonate with stylistically. But then the substance was so not there for me that it kind of like the bottom just fell out of the whole thing, and I started caring
You
a
gotta
lot
have
less.
some meat, you know. Otherwise, you're just a floppy dick.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
I mean, we have to get erect at
The
some
S
point.
is silence.
We have to get erect at some point. You gotta
Otherwise,
you
the
gotta
S is
build that
silent.
blood up, and
The S is silent. Substance. Oh shit! Oh my
anywho,
god, that was good.
and I totally agree with
If
you
you
too.
don't have substance, you're just a floppy disk. The S is you're just a floppy dick. The S is silent. I gotta write that down.
Go do it. Also, I totally
writing
agree
it
with
down
you
right
on
now.
the Nick Cage element. I actually do think Nick Cage can be quite exciting to watch. I recently saw him in a movie called Dream Scenario, which I would recommend, not because I think it's a good movie, but I think it's an incredible performance from Nicolas Cage. I think in that movie, he's like, I don't see him as Nicolas. I mean, of course he's Nicolas Cage. You know you're watching Nicolas Cage. But I think he does such a good performance in that it totally worked, because I think he really transformed himself in a way. Like he kind of plays this loser. Like he kind of plays like this square guy who just kind of is like down on his luck, and he's just kind of like this professor at this, the whole idea of his character is that he has nothing interesting about him until something interesting is thrust onto him through like outside forces. And that to me is like so exciting to watch him do, because we know Nick Cage, we know he's got a lot of like charisma, and so to watch him take that charisma out successfully was pretty cool, I thought. Like to play a kind of loser really well was exciting to watch. This though, I totally agree. I felt like his performance was silly and just kind of like God,
He's a clown.
I
He's
just
like a '90s hair rock clown, or like an '80s rock and roll clown wearing a. But I guess he was his whole look was like inspired by the T-Rex dude. What's his name?
Yeah, let's not get into his look, because I actually do feel like that's a
sorry.
spoiler, just because they have
Mark
kept him out
Bolan.
of the marketing. So let's not talk about Longlegs himself,
Zip.
but or like what he looks like. But I just think that the
Okay,
performance
sorry.
was over the top. I thought it was a caricature, and I just really, really, really wish that I know it wouldn't have brought nearly the amount of audience that this film now has. But I really wish they would have cast like an unknown as
Me
the
too.
character of Longlegs, because if I think that character actually could be really scary, because it's got like a lot behind it. Like the kind of lore that they set up, I think is creepy. It's really creepy, but it's just like the direction he took with it. I was just like, this is too silly. It's too silly to be scary.
It was silly. Yeah.
So like, and I wanted to be scared by it. I really did. Like I was ready.
Yeah.
And there was times when I could convince myself like maybe this is kind of creepy, but then he would do something that was so silly. I was just like, I can't get behind this. So
Yeah.
anyways, yeah, I feel like pretty much I agree with everything you say. And in a non-spoiler way, I don't have too much more to say other than, yeah, I mean, I think it's a entertaining watch. Like, it's not like I totally don't recommend it, because I think it's still cool. Like, I was entertained. I just wish that it was better.
I'll say unexpectedly for me, like when we went to go see the movie last night or 2 nights ago, it was packed.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's going strong.
Not packed, but I didn't usually when I go to a movie, I expect to be the only person in there, which half the time I am.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was afraid. I was like, I wanted to go with Anton, my husband, and I was hoping he could come with me, but then we didn't have a babysitter for Ethan, so he stayed home with Ethan. But I did manage to get my next door neighbor to come with me, who is a new neighbor who I've recently become friends with, and I thought if I go by myself, what if I'm all alone and I get scared?
Would you
in the movie theater by myself?
Do you think in retrospect, do you think you would have been scared if you saw this alone?
Maybe, just I don't know. Okay, the theater I went to see it at is like an old theater, and so being alone in an old theater, yes, I get scared because I think, what if there's ghosts?
But what about the packed house that you were in?
If I would have gone by myself to that, no, I would have been fine because it was packed.
Right.
But if I would have been the only person in that movie theater, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get scared.
Yeah.
I used to go to movies by myself all the time, and I don't know. After listening to all these horror or these ghost stories on Spooked and like different podcasts, I think, you know what? I'm not fucking around anymore. I'm not going to be alone in an old theater.
Fair enough. Any other non-spoiler thoughts before we kind of dig into more detailed thoughts?
No, I'm ready for spoilers.
Yeah, I think there's a good amount to talk about too with spoilers. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the spoiler warning up. If you haven't seen Longlegs and you don't want to know anything more about it, now would be the time to tune out. But I appreciate you listening thus far. Yeah.
Sorry. Can we ask our people who are here? Has anybody here seen the movie yet? Just curious.
Yeah, let us know if you've seen the movie and what you think. I think Nicole told me beforehand that she had not seen the film, so she is probably heading out, or she already headed out because I just said
Nicole, as in Nick Lee 27.
Yeah.
Oh, she's okay, because Nicole said dream scenario was fascinating.
Right, and she also just said, "I'm out. Thanks, guys."
What dream scenario?
That's what I was talking about. The movie I was talking about, with Nick Cage, which is way better. Not way better of a movie, but a way better performance from Nick Cage, I will say. I think the movie was really fucking cool to a point, and then I think it kind of like fell apart in the end a little bit. But I would still recommend it to you if you're just sort of like, I want to see something better than Nick Cage was in recently. Like Dream Scenario is a way better performance from him.
All right.
And
did you like?
I think,
what was that movie that he was in? The one, Mandy.
I was kind of mixed on Mandy, I will say. I was mixed on Mandy.
No offense.
But Laura, I actually think that you would. Let me just tell you a quick little brief on Dream Scenario. It's basically about this guy who he starts to find out that people are all dreaming about him. He's showing up in people's dreams and he doesn't know why, and nor does anyone else. And it becomes like this phenomenon. Like it starts in his town where people are like, "Hey, I had a dream about you last night." It's like this kind of, it starts like this small scale thing, but then it becomes like this bigger and bigger thing, and he becomes like famous as like he is appearing in everyone's dreams. And so it's like this kind of wild thing that's going on. And I think it kind of goes into interesting spots. What it ultimately is kind of saying is cool, but I think I don't know, it's a fun movie.
All right.
Anywho, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about Longlegs, and we're gonna get into some spoilers. So
spoilers.
Yeah, I think something kind of fun and I wish that it was in a better movie. But something kind of fun that I recently read was Osgood recently came out and said that he hid 15 appearances of the devil throughout the film. Did you catch any? Because I definitely saw like the devil three.
Wait, sorry, say that one more time. Who was in the what?
Osgood Perkins, the director of the film.
Oh,
he hid.
Oh. He was cameoing.
No. Oh my God.
Oh,
He hid appearances of the devil 15 times in the film. And I'm just curious how many
I was looking for those Easter eggs because I sensed that there were Easter eggs throughout.
I was curious how many you caught. Because I think I saw the devil like 3 times.
When we're talking about the devil, are we talking about the black shadow, or
Yeah.
is that more like the doll?
No, the black shadow with horns. That was because I saw it a few times throughout the film.
I certainly saw it at least once.
Well, there's one really
like,
obvious
it was called
time.
attention to.
Yeah.
But then there was like the black figure that was hard to make out. I know that like part of the time that the black figure, I'm guessing, was like the doll shrouded in black, right?
Well, no, like the devil. Like you always saw his horns.
See, okay, you know what?
Did you not?
I was looking for that sort of thing, but I don't know if I saw it more than once.
Oh, I saw like 3
so
to 4 of there, but apparently there's 15.
Oh my God!
But like I
that's
saw him
cool.
once when she got the note. When she was staying at that cabin, you know, she was staying at the
Yeah.
cabin, and then Longlegs
I felt
comes
like
and
there was
gives them a
something
note.
in the background there.
In
Was
her
it in the
house,
background?
like when she got up and she was like looking around, she like passes
Yeah.
by a hall and like he's just like standing there. That was like the first time that I saw him. And then you definitely see him like hardcore towards the end. Like there's
I
a
saw
really
that.
obvious one.
I
When
saw that.
she
the
goes to the
horns.
mom's house, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then I saw him one other time, and I'm forgetting right now. But apparently, there's 15 times, which is kind of cool. Like I like that kind of stuff. Again, this has like all these ingredients.
I love that too.
This
like
has all
that
the-
that stuff is they do that in Midsommar, but like in a way cooler. I mean, that was amazing the way they did that in that movie
Yeah,
with the dead sister basically.
right.
But no. I'm wondering if part of the time that I saw the devil with the horns was when she was like looking out into the trees and you can't really see or you can't quite make out if there is a black figure out there, but maybe it is.
Well, I saw that too, but I'm not sure if that counts as one of the times or not.
Okay,
Because
okay,
I didn't see
okay.
his horns that time, and I thought that was supposed to be Longlegs, like him, like you know the serial killer
dude.
himself, Nick
Yeah.
Cage.
Right.
So I don't know if that counts as. I don't know if they're counting that. I
yeah,
just don't really
okay.
know.
Oh man, I would actually rewatch the movie just to see those things.
Um,
Because I like that kind of stuff.
And I think that was something that played to the strengths of the film because the cinematography is really well. You can tell it's really well thought out. Like it's lots of like static camera angles that are like really well balanced and like I think beautifully shot. And
Yeah.
so it begs you to look at everything in the frame because there's often very little, and it's kind of like this minimal
I
feel.
noticed a lot of weird, cool things in the background, like in the mom's house, and
Yeah.
there was one thing that stood out to me a lot that irked me quite a bit. Every like front door to every house that she walked through, they all had the same really cheap trim around the window. Like, so they all had a window in them.
Uh-huh.
And they all had the cheap trim that has like the screws in it that goes around the window. I know this door because it's the same kind of door that's on my shed, which I really regret having. But it's like basically a cheap fiberglass insulated door it's like a default door that comes with certain prefabricated housing.
Mm-hmm.
But like the fact that it was on her mom's house, which was supposed to be sort of like an old, I guess, kind of New Englandy looking craftsman. Or wait, where does it take place again? I forget.
I don't know where it's, but isn't it upstate New York or no?
Okay, yeah.
I don't actually
So-
know though.
I think you're right. Yeah, and then there's
I'll look it up.
I don't know. Just then the detective's house had it, and then the first house that she went to, where the serial killer was supposedly supposed to be, where she immediately like detected that he was there.
Mm-hmm.
That house had it too, and I'm like, why this is the art department or like the set design for department, like just using these doors, obviously. And I just thought this ain't getting past me. Like they are all the cheap door.
Uh-huh. By the way, it's Oregon.
Oh, Oregon. Okay, sorry. Well,
Yeah.
okay, so not New England, but like still, it was like a New England, like craftsman, like old, kind of house, and I just feel like I don't know that house would have had that. Her mom's house,
Yeah.
and I just couldn't stop noticing those cheap looking little frames around the cheap trim around the window frame. Anyway.
So
One small detail, it's fine.
let's talk about Longlegs and his look and Nick Cage's performance in a little more detail, because I certainly was like holding back on discussing that, and I do want to discuss it. And also maybe even something I should have mentioned. Maybe I actually probably should have said this just because I think it might kind of be spoilers, but this movie to me also really felt like too much of a knockoff of Silence of the Lambs. Like it felt, especially given what Nick Cage ultimately ends up looking like, which is like, vaguely like
glammy,
like a like glam,
alternative kind of,
but also kind of like drag-esque and sort of like playing with gender to a degree of like, he's like he's like a little feminine, a little masculine.
I thought it was an old lady at first.
Well, I mean, that's what I mean. It's kind of like a little
but
vague.
Then I was like, oh no, it's an 80s rocker.
Right. Well, kind of.
Vest.
But also he's giving like kind of a fucked up drag kind of thing or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I don't know. To me, that really evokes Buffalo Bill of Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
But I think they did like such a cooler job with Buffalo Bill. Like Buffalo Bill, to me, is way like, he just evokes like creepy, and he also is sort of dressing in women's clothing, and it's kind of unclear if he even might be trans, but it was like kind of too, it's like too early to like, he's kind of like himself wondering about his own gender in that film, and you kind of like hear some of that through Hannibal Lecter, and I've always like found that character like way more interesting than, I don't know, this to me felt like not only the fact of what he looked like, but also just this whole, serial killer, we're following a young woman who's on the force, who's like hunting this serial killer, this is like her first big job. It's like the parallels just keep coming. It's like this felt like this, I don't know, overly stylized, but totally overly stylized, but like way less meat on the bone version of Silence of the Lambs.
And she's also like this sort of apathetic kind of robotic type of personality, like Jodie Foster in Silence of the Lambs.
I mean, it's so Silence of the Lambs, it was like kind of pissing me off actually, because I recently watched Silence of the Lambs again, and I think that movie's fucking perfect. When I watched it again recently, it cemented it as like, this is like one of my favorite films of all time. So good.
It is good. I think like Nicolas Cage, once they showed their face, I was like, oh, it's Nicolas Cage.
Right.
Like, this is not a scary person. You know what I mean?
But the concept could be scary.
He looked like a plastic surgerized old lady dressed like a 1980s hair metal band or something like that.
I agree.
What did you think of all the T-Rex referencing? It was just like, what is the obsession with T-Rex in this movie?
All the lyrical stuff. I don't know
not just the lyrical stuff. There was like a poster of that guy, of what's his name, of Bolin, what's his name, from T-Rex.
Well,
anyway,
what does it mean?
Was just everywhere. So I looked it up. I was like, why is T-Rex in this movie? Mark Bolin, I meant. There was a poster of Mark Bolin inside the serial killer's room, and like I realized I was like, why does he look like a freaking? Why does Longlegs look like a rocker clown? And then basically he's like trying to emulate Mark Bolin from T-Rex, and I guess the whole reference of it really was not very, I don't know, I guess maybe it was just the director writing on a whim, but apparently the director was listening to T-Rex a bunch right around the time that he started writing the script or whatever. And that's all he was just like inserting this band that he was into the movie just as a vibe. And like he hadn't even really been a fan of T-Rex before the movie. He just suddenly was like into it, and whatever. I guess that.
I feel like it's
just
the
think
least of the
it's-
film's concerns, though. I mean, it does
Once
speak to a
again,
larger
it's like-
problem.
But I mean, it's like they're calling so much attention to T-Rex in this movie. You know what I mean? And yet it's not that. I don't know, but that takes away from it to me. It takes away from if it's supposed to be a scary movie or whatever, and like, well, I don't know. It just felt a bit trite. You know what I mean? It felt a bit like superficial and without it was like lacking in substance to me.
Well, I think
But
it
on
speaks...
the other hand, oh, what?
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, on the other hand, I can understand and respect, like, you know, being into a band and being inspired by them and wanting to, like, you know, kind of somehow mix that into whatever it is that you're creating. But it just felt like, oh, there's this cool band that I just discovered, and I want to, like, I don't know, it just felt a little posery or something like that. You know what I mean? But maybe it's fine. But I also still have left the movie wondering, like, why is it called Longlegs?
Because his name, the serial killer's name was Longlegs.
Why?
Beats me.
Oh, well, so yeah, okay, so you don't know either.
Well, no, but that's why it's called Longlegs, but I don't know why they call him Longlegs.
Okay, I know that the serial killer.
Oh, no,
was
no.
Longlegs.
They
Why
actually,
is
I'm
he
sorry.
called Longlegs?
They did explain it because to kids, it always seemed like he had long legs. Don't they say that in the movie? I mean, look, I don't think it's a great explanation.
Kids?
Well, because remember, didn't the officer, like, tell her, you know, they call him Longlegs because, like, the kids call him Longlegs because he has such, like, long legs. And, like, I think they kind of imply that in the opening scene when you first kind of see him, where, you know, this little girl, she, like, sees his legs first, and then, like, she kind of looks up, but she can't even, like, see his face really. And they're kind of, like, doing this whole thing of blocking his face intentionally, of course, for the audience. But I think it's, like, implying that, you know, because he's always talking to these kids first, like, he's finding the kid, and so it's like, to kids, it always appears that he has these, like, long legs because they're, like, these little tiny kids. But I don't think it's that, like, I mean, whatever.
It's just whatever.
It's just
Yeah,
whatever.
It doesn't really mean that much.
But all of
It's
this
not
to
that
me,
deep.
all this to me though speaks
Like,
to,
he could be any adult, and anybody could be called Longlegs because they would all look like they would have long legs to a child.
Sure.
Like any adult would look like that.
I mean, I guess
it's
Nick
just
Cage
kind
is
of-
tall. You know, he is a tall actor, and, you know, I think they're just kind of...
Okay.
Look, I think the T-Rex shit and the calling it long legs thing, like, these aren't my biggest concerns with the film, but they do speak to my bigger concerns of the film, which, in more specific terms, it's like, I felt like the investigation element led nowhere. And it really bothered me
Right.
because it was like,
No,
I
they
was
just
so
gave that-
into it in the beginning when, you know, we're seeing these, like, cool ciphers, which was very evocative of Zodiac and the real life Zodiac killer who was doing this, like, using symbols, and people were, like, decoding them. I love that kind of crap, and I was really into it when it felt like, okay, so this is building to something, and then they start making the connection, like, oh, it's like part of this occult symbol, but it's like, that ultimately was all it was like, oh, it builds to this occult symbol, but then why? Like, why that occult symbol? And, like, what did that symbol mean? Like, I feel like we never went a layer deeper than just like, oh, he's, like, killing these people in this, if you put it on a calendar, like, it makes an upside down triangle, but it's like, okay, that's his whole thing, was that he's, like, killing people so that it makes a fucking upside down triangle when you put it on a calendar. Like, that really bothered me because it's like, there's got to be something more than just that. Like, I don't know. It didn't feel like there was enough to warrant how much buildup there was with, like, symbols and, like, decoding messages. Because, like, ultimately, she, like, decodes that message too. And it was just sort of like, kind of like some threatening nonsense. But, like, what did that actually mean in the long run? You know?
Also, like, it didn't even matter because the mom explained everything at the end. Like, it's just, none of it mattered because the mom explained everything at the end. It was just like one long expositional monologue. I
Yeah.
gave the devil a deal so I could save your life. And now I work for him and I have to kill the people. And he inserts his body into these little silver balls into the brains of the dolls. And then it was like
Yeah.
it was just like they were just spoon feeding you every single detail of why everything happened. It was just, there was no room for.
But see, this is what bothers me about that, because everything that they said in that time is like, I would have been so into that if we had like uncovered it. Like it felt like we were like getting that here and there and like giving us little bits and pieces. Like it actually added up to that. But to me, it just felt like, oh, we're getting these little lanes that go here and go there, and like there's lots of these stray little mysteries that are happening throughout the film. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna forget all that, and we're just gonna tell you like the devil he kills for the devil, she's the assistant. Like it just felt like, okay, this is not the way I want to care about this.
I wonder if the inverted triangle represents the devil himself.
Well, it is like an occult symbol that I guess, I don't know,
Look at what
summons
does
the
an inverted
devil.
triangle look like? It's like if you think of a triangle as like this, and then you invert the top of it, then it's like this.
Well, see, I could buy it that,
You know what I mean? It's like the devil horns.
right.
At the same time, whatever.
But it's like, why is he doing that to a calendar? Like, like this is what I mean. Like, it didn't.
He needs the sacrifices on a certain. But also the other thing though is, here's my big question that I don't think was explained. So we realized that Nicolas Cage, the devil worshiper,
Mm-hmm.
who knows when he became like invested in the devil, or like when he made his pact with the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Was he living with the mom before or after they made the deal?
I think it's after, because he meets
One day the
girl.
man came to them.
He meets the main. So it's revealed that, you know, the main investigator, she was the little girl from the opening scene. And
that's when they met.
So that's when they met, and he, you know, as he has been known to do, would normally then give them a doll, and then he would force them to kill each other. But the mom made a deal with Longlegs, like, spare us and I'll help you.
The day that they met. Okay.
Well, she made a deal
Spare us and I'll
to
help you.
spare the daughter. Like, she didn't want her daughter to die, so so they made like a pact or whatever that she was gonna help him kill in the future, so that she could save.
She would be his
girl.
accomplice.
Right.
And so then she just let him move into their house.
Yeah, I guess he was like living in the basement, like making the dolls and whatnot.
So when did he become an accomplice to the devil? Like, what was his deal? He was just into Satanism and like wanted to help.
Yeah, I don't know. I
So
don't
he
really
was
know
a
if that was
mere
explained.
mortal. He was just like a mere mortal.
Yeah, I don't really know if it was explained, or I mean, maybe it was and I don't remember, but I don't recall what his deal with it is, into how he got like the devil, how he, you know, gets caught up with the devil.
Invoked the
Yeah.
devil. But then obviously he kills himself during that like investigation scene when they're
Right.
in the interrogation room.
Right.
Why do you think that he killed himself at that moment?
Great question, Laura. I don't know. Like, a lot of shit was just happening in this movie, and I was like, okay, I mean, it's like visually cool that I guess he's doing this, and like, whatever. But like, that was kind of the point of the film where it was really starting to fall apart for me. Because the first half I was into, because I was hoping that like these things were going to add up to something, you know?
You were still wondering what was going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
But it starts to turn around there for me, where I'm like, I'm starting to get the sense that none of this is really going to add up to that much.
Right. It's
And
all a bunch of bull.
It's
And
not like
so,
it's
yeah.
nothing. It's not like it doesn't add up to nothing, but I just feel like, given how much they're kind of like offering you to think about, I really wish they would have added more layers by the end, so that it felt like, because I know, like, I mean, writing
Also,
films
what-
is a magic trick. Like, you want to make people think that there is a lot of possibilities, and then you want to offer them a possibility that, while it's not actually, like, you can't always make everything add up to everything. Like, there's always going to be some stray loose ends. But the magic trick of like filmmaking is to like not let your audience think too much about the loose ends, because you've given them a satisfying enough like reason for everything. But like, this to me was not satisfying enough for me to not pay attention to all of these like stray things that we were like thinking about the whole film that I really wanted there to be more to. It felt like a best of, you know, like a best of serial killer, you know, things like, oh, we're going to take the symbols from he's going to give letters with symbols on them to the cops, just like how Zodiac did. And he's going to like be, you know, he's going to kind of be like a gender queer, you know, looking person, kind of like how in Silence of the Lambs,
Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, Buffalo Bill. It's like they were just kind of like taking all these like the coolest parts of like these other iconic serial killers, but like what makes Longlegs, you know?
Yeah, and also was wondering why did the mom? I did think that the mom was really well cast and that she was really creepy seeming.
Mm-hmm. I like the mom.
Why did she decide to shoot the doll replica of her daughter?
See, I didn't get that either. Like, I get it.
It's like, what compelled her to do that and allow the daughter to finally sort of, I don't know, be free from whatever.
It's like you're
so
breaking
I guess the whole
spell.
idea is like the devil is like keeping the person whose doll it is under control of what they're able to see and hear.
Right.
Right? Of the devil.
Yeah.
So the devil is like kind of giving them hints through the doll.
Uh-huh.
Like the devil was essentially communicating with our main girl, the detective.
Uh-huh.
And yet why? It was almost like he wanted her to find him. The devil wanted her to like figure it out.
Well, again,
because like that was the only reason she was able to uncode all the codes and crap like that.
But then why would the mom not want that anymore? Like, why did she destroy?
Why would the devil not want that anymore?
Well, why would the devil want to be found out? By,
why would the devil want that in the first place? Exactly.
Right.
It's like,
so like if he is controlling her, why is he controlling her to help her with the investigation into
exactly, and yet also controlling these other people to not help them? Like the little girl at the end, the daughter of that dude detective who became possessed by the devil.
Right.
What was her experience going to be? Was she going to be like just like some weird psychotic happy person who would be like pleased with the death of her parents? And it's almost like the way that the main detective was being controlled by the devil was not consistent with the way others would be controlled by the devil through this mechanism of the doll.
Right. I mean, maybe it had to do with the fact that they made that deal or something. But what I don't get is like, if they made this deal,
then why would he?
Then why was there a doll to begin with? Like,
exactly.
It would make more sense to me if they made the deal so then he didn't make her a doll. Like the deal was that she is free from the influence of the devil.
Yeah, and yet also like the other girl, remember the one who ends up who is in the insane asylum?
Right.
She has a doll.
Uh-huh.
And what was her mental state like? She was basically crazy, right? And not there. And what? Like under the influence of the devil.
Right. So, I guess in retrospect too, we're supposed to then, like, I guess her kind of clairvoyance that the main character was having, where she could kind of sense things before they were for sure or whatever. Yeah. Maybe like, is that supposed to be the devil's influence? Because wouldn't that, I don't know, it just doesn't really add up.
Against the devil. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Because if that's the devil's influence,
add up.
If someone's
it out, Osmond.
Osgood. It's not all's good.
It's Osgood. It ain't all's good. You gotta figure that shit out, y'all.
Yeah.
Or maybe we're not getting it, but the reason why is because maybe you didn't do a good job. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, maybe we aren't getting it.
Maybe we did do a good job, and maybe we're just dumb.
Maybe we aren't getting it. Like,
maybe
could
we're
be
just part of the floppy disk club. S is silent.
Maybe there's more answers here, but I do feel like I was watching and I wanted to get as much from this, and I didn't get that. Like I didn't. It's just, I think it's a little vague. Like I think it's just kind of like,
it's not, but it's both vague or inconsistent, and also really expository and doing a bit much.
Right.
Just like the whole monologue at the end with the mom trying to tell us the whole thing. It was just like, okay, guys, come on.
Right.
Let's not.
I thought that story was cool, though. Like, I think what was actually being said, like, what occurred was cool.
I know, but I wish they could have shown. I wish they could have shown us and not told us with words.
I agree.
That was just so. It felt a bit cheap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because
Just
it's like
felt amateur. or something.
right. Yeah, why couldn't they have done that sequence without a voiceover? I think it would have. Couldn't they have found a way to just let
Well,
us see what
No,
happened?
I don't think it should have been a sequence. I think that they should have shown us throughout the movie, given us enough information to put that together. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because it was not enough information to put all that together. It was just, I don't know. And it was also a fairly convoluted scenario, honestly. Like, oh, the devil makes these dolls, and then he makes these little silver balls where he's going to put a little black smoke, in, which is going to be a little part of the devil, and it's going to come back. And there's going to be a little girl, and then the mother's going to have
It's gonna be on the
this,
9th
parents are
birthday.
gonna do that,
And
and then
so they're gonna think that it comes.
14.
They think it's gonna come from the church. So
The
she's bringing it
parents
to
are
the
going to want to
church.
kill each other, and the parents are going to eventually try to kill a girl, but then there's going to be a doll, and it's going to be all
But she's gonna bring the doll, and she's gonna say it's from.
doesn't think it's such complex. The devil is, you know, what's brilliant about the devil, typically speaking, is that there's a simplicity to it all.
The devil made me do it.
Times the devil made me do it. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like, it's just a bit much.
Keep it simple, stupid. That's what they say.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Anywho, anything
It's
else?
just kind of humorously not great in that way.
Yeah. Anything else that you wanted to cover?
I think
About
that
the
that's it. I think I got all my stuff out that I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
cover, to go over.
Yeah. Again, I just want to
But,
reiterate.
you know, I guess it's like a 6.5 as a kind of fun watch.
Yeah, I mean, this was not a bad film. I just wish that it was great because it has a lot of what would
It
have
wasn't
made it great for me.
Yeah, sorry,
Like,
it just wasn't great.
yeah. Well, I agree. I think it's not great, but I wish it had a lot of ingredients to add up to something that would have been a much more like iconic film to me if they really
Yeah.
like delivered on some of this stuff.
But at the same time, who the fuck cares what we think? This motherfucker made like 10 times the money that it was projected to make on the first night or whatever. So
Right? Yeah. No, it's
y'all's
killing
are
it.
good. Y'all's is all good.
Osgood is all good.
Meanwhile, can you just throw me a cool mill?
Just one of those mills.
I mean, I could really be down for that. Please give me that, someone. Just give me a cool mill. I'll
yeah.
be good.
I agree.
Why can't I just make my first million?
We're gonna make it with our dicks through time.
No, it's not. It's going to be pricks through time.
Our
I
pricks
think it
through
needs to
time.
be called pricks through time.
Right.
Pricks through. I really want to develop this, Dominic.
Yeah. Agreed.
I'm so serious. I'm not even kidding.
I'm ready to talk about it. We'll talk off
Let
air.
me just write. Let's see.
Develop pricks through time, she writes.
Wait. Oh no, I didn't write it down. Hold on. Pricks through time.
You know what? You won't need to because it's fully documented live on air for people to watch
Oh, I
throughout
thought that I
time.
sent it- Wait, I thought I wrote it down. Oh, I sent it to you. Sorry. Okay. Just sent you. Okay. So, Pricks Through Time, the
Right.
new art installation or coffee table book by Dominic and Laura Weinbach.
Oh, yeah, Dominic Weinbach and Laura Weinbach.
Dominic.
By Dominic and Laura Weinbach. I have no last name. Or it's implied that my
You're
last
just
name
Dominic.
is Weinbach.
You're just Dominic.
Sure, yeah. Wow, like
Anyway.
Bjork or Beyonce.
Exactly. Dominic. This is Dominic, my friend Dominic. I'd like you to meet the Dominic.
The Dominic.
like that.
You know what I was recently thinking too? Not to just talk about my name for a second, but like I didn't meet anyone named Dominic for like a long, long time, and I think it's starting to become a little more common, and I don't like that. Just throwing it out there.
That's a problem you're going to have to deal with, honey bones.
Just throwing it out there. Like now there's like a couple famous Dominics. There's like Dominic Fike, that actor that's on Euphoria. And then there's
Do
like
not know
some
him.
there's some sport Dominic. I don't even know what
Sporty
sport,
Dominic.
but there's a sporty Dom.
Sporty Nick.
There's a sporty
Sporty
Dominic out
Dom.
there, yeah.
I even believe it. I believe it.
I think I'm still holding
All
down
right.
the arty the arty Dom, like the the filmmaker.
You should just go by Artie Dom.
Yeah. Anywho, that's gonna do it for our
Art Dom.
episode today of Totally Tell Me. We will be back in 2 weeks for a new episode, which puts us at August 11th will be our next show. So if you want to know what we're going to do for that show, follow us on Instagram and we will post about it shortly before. We post these later onto all podcast services, but if you want to watch us live, we go live on YouTube or Twitch, twitch.tv/totallytellme. every other Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So tune in next time, be a part of the show if you so wish, or just keep on listening later if that's what you did now, you bad boy. Anyways, that's going to do it for us. We will see you in a couple weeks. Thanks for watching, and take care. Have a good night. Bye. The devil made me do it. The devil made me do it. Devil, Satan, hail Satan.